Don't leave me hanging. It's go time.
Hey everybody, this is Josh, and here we have a game between FXOmOoNan, the red Terran over on the left side of Metalopolis, and his opponent is going to be Liquid TLO, the purple Terran, down here on the bottom spawn. And I'm not sure, because I looked ahead on these replays, if TLO actually picked Terran because he's playing a Terran opponent, because he had Terran actually every single game, or if he continued to be random and actually just happened to get Terran multiple times. So maybe playing random, maybe playing Terran here, I don't know, but either way, it's a TVT here on Close Flying Spawns Metalopolis. FXOmOoNan, some of you guys may know better as All About You. He played at MLG Dallas as All About You, but since becoming a trial for FXO, the same team as Chef, Moonglade, and Optic Zero, he has changed his name to Moonan, so that is what I'm going to call him, and it's kind of fun to say. Say it with me. Moonan. Moonan. That's right, Moonan. And nothing crazy is happening here. Looks like Moonan is going to be the first one to start scouting with his SCV at this close running position. Obviously, players like to check the close running positions first because it lets them know if they need to be worried about an aggressive build or if they have some time to start teching up and things like that. TLO has not started to scout yet himself. Both players are doing pretty similar builds here so far, though. Very standard Terran build, supply depot, barracks, refinery, and then next we'll see an orbital command come up. Probably for each player. I mean, orbital command's the strongest macro tool in the game, a lot of people will think. TLO doing something a little unorthodox here. He's actually going to check the close flying positions first. He is not even going to bother with the close running positions, and I'm not sure why, to be honest. If you guys have any insight on that, go ahead and leave it in the comments. But soon Moonan is going to find TLO. TLO actually finds Moonan first. Not going to see anything too crazy as that orbital command starts to build. TLO is getting his at the same time, and it seems like TVT is the matchup where we see the most mirror image here in the production tab of any mirror matchup. Protoss, you don't really see it too much. ZerG, you hardly see it. I mean, sometimes with ZerG you can see it, but you know, it's really down to the player how many drones they want to build, how many lings they want to build. But Terran, it can be mirrored for like 8 minutes into the game. I've actually cast a couple of games like that with Show and some other players who I cannot remember right now, but TVT is actually just prone to it. And you see both players dropping a factory right now at the exact same time, so that mirror imagery rearing its ugly head once again. Things are starting to get a little bit different here. We see Moonan actually getting a second gas. We saw TLO start to put one up, but then he canceled it. I'm not sure if he was trying to fake out that scouting SCV or not. I don't even know if the scouting SCV saw it, so let's take his vision real quick. No, he didn't even see it. So canceled refinery, not an advantage really to TLO at all. Instead, it's a waste of a couple of minerals, as I'm sure he's going to be getting a refinery at some point. He did not need a marine extremely quickly there for any real reason, so pretty much just a little bit of a mess up. Starport coming up now for TLO and for Moonan. Neither player shaking this mirror image. Look at this, 2 Hellions coming, 2 Marines coming, 2 Starports, 2 SCVs. Supply depot coming up for Moonan first, though, but then TLO is going to do the exact same thing. Check this out. A row of 5 things identical here 5 minutes into the game. TVT, you are just so ridiculous. Starport about to complete for TLO first. FXOmOoNan just slightly behind. He is getting a tech lab up on this factory, most likely going to be switching it onto the starport. TLO, on the other hand, does not have any add-ons for any of his bases, and he's doing something weird over here. He dropped his factory down onto the low ground and is making another Hellion to cut that travel distance by quite a bit, and he's queued up another Hellion, so he's not worried about losing this as these Marines loop around here. An SCV actually came to help out Moonan. I'm not sure what that was about, basically just losing an SCV. This next Hellion and these couple of Marines are going to be able to finish off the last of Moonan's forces, so TLO actually takes a nice little advantage early into this game. 34 food against 28. Let's look at the SCV count here, 22 against 22. Not surprising, since we've been watching this production tab be mirrored essentially the entire time. And Armory coming up for TLO. Hope we can get to see some Thors. I always love to see Thors. TLO doing a bit of a drop right now, or at least looks like he wants to. Yeah, here we go. A couple of Marines and a couple of Hellions being dropped out of that medevac. A single Marine back here doing some spotting, just making sure Moonan doesn't do anything crazy. There is a Viking out for Moonan. These Marines are going to try and focus it down, but there's also a tank out for Moonan. that's just one benefit of actually having add-ons, ladies and gentlemen. You can build things like tanks and Vikings. Actually, Viking, I guess you don't need an add-on. But anyway, TLO still doesn't have any. As far as I know, he's getting his first tech lab on something. But I want to watch these Hellions kill SCVs, or at least try to, while this tank just roams around and tries to shoot it down. He's not even going to be able to escape, as that wall-off is totally sealed. Couple of Marines back here for TLO. Might be able to come over here and use this Hellion to get vision and shoot away at this tank, but of course the tank can shoot back. This Viking, of course, overhead lets it see everything. Tank finally finishes off that Hellion. Sorry, stumbling over my words a little bit here. TLO did get a tech lab up on the factory, and he's building a Thor very quickly on the low ground here. Don't see this hardly ever. Actually, I think I may have never seen it. I'll go ahead and say it. Tech lab coming up on this barracks. 2 more barracks being built. This first Thor is going to come out, but then what's going to happen? He doesn't have another medevac yet. Now he has to build one and rally it to the middle of his base. Maybe he'll do a Thor drop. Getting an engineering bay up now as well, while Moonan is looking to expand. TLO also looking to expand, but he's just doing it right there at the natural. Moonan is actually going to float his over instead from behind his very safe wall off. TLO has no such wall off, but he is a little bit ahead in terms of units, or should be anyway. 47 supply against 38. Yeah, this Thor, of course, is a big old chunk of that unit count. 4 Marines and a single Hellion reappear here at the front of Moonan's base. Not sure what they're going to be doing, if anything. Oh, they actually score a free Marine kill. Not bad for TLO. Moonan did just want to peek out there and make sure TLO didn't have like a giant overwhelming force before trying to float this command center over. Moonan's setting up his siege tank here as well. That'll be good for when these Marines start to sneak in, and TLO obviously doesn't want to get his Marines' heads blasted off. Here is the Thor drop going on. Wow, so there's a single siege tank in the mineral line of Moonan. He's going to drop the Thor right on top of it. Is he going to be able to power it down? Oh, the SCVs actually do surround the tank and try to repair it up, but this Thor taking a couple of shots from the SCVs, trying to drill it to death. The medevac very quickly scoops him back up. Moonan has a single Banshee up. Oh, look at this. TLO is going to show us some of his sick micro. He can actually pick up and drop that Thor, shoot some rockets up there before the rockets can actually hit the Thor on the ground. He scoops it back up. I love seeing that micro. I used to see TLO do Hellion drops like that in the mineral line against Banshees, where he would just quickly drop and pick up, and kill SCVs left and right with 3 Banshees overhead trying to take it out. Moonan is going to actually be able to come out here and do some damage. Gets 1 Marine kill very quickly. Oh, is he going to lose this Banshee for just 2 Marines? No, he is not going to lose the Banshee. The siege tank actually picks up a little bit of that slack, baiting that Marine in. So TLO trying a couple of creative things here in this TVT matchup. I like what I'm seeing. Getting his Thor repaired back up, at least to a degree. I'm not sure why he didn't just fully repair it. There he goes. Getting another SCV onto that Thor. Marine and Hellion just hanging out, keeping tabs on things. Is he going to see this command center land? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see in a moment. Yes, he will see the command center land, so TLO is now aware that the expansion is ready for Moonan, but TLO's so far ahead since he built his here and just turned it into an orbital command right away, transferred his workers. He's at 43 supply, or 43 workers, I should say, against only 28 of Moonan. We got a Viking on Viking battle right there. That was kind of interesting, but the Thor is safely going to be dropped here against a tank, a couple of Marines, and a Banshee. Quickly picks up that Thor before it goes down after killing the tank. Very nice getting that tank kill there. Did not expect that, but the Thor is at such low health he does not want to drop it in the firing range of this tank or of this Banshee, so he's going to do the drop and pick up micro once again. That Hellion was taken out by the siege tank fire. Single Thor and a medevac against this many Marines. He's going to blow off the heads of 2 of the Marines and actually still survive with this Thor. And also drop a mule here to try and get some repairs. 41 health left on this Thor. He managed to kill all of those Marines. He's got 14 kills to his name. A couple of Marines out, another Banshee, another tank. Oh, this is just ridiculous what this Thor and medevac combo are doing right here. Is he going to scoop it before? No! Moonan finally gets the kill there with that Banshee. The medevac was just a little out of place. Also, if he'd come in too early, those Marines would have focused down the medevac anyway. So TLO's presence in Moonan's base totally finally stomped out. TLO is at 92 supply, though, against only 62. Let's look at the units and see what we're working with here. Just a single medevac for each player. More tanks from TLO than anything. And Marauders. Tank Marauder he's been building back at home this entire time, not building another Thor. He's also been building a ton of workers. 53 Harvesters now against 36 of Moonan, even though they're both on 2 bases. So TLO sitting on top right now with his production capability, and his unit composition is pretty good as well. Looks like a little attempted drop tried to come in for Moonan, but he lost one of those medevacs. I'm not sure if it was full of units or not, but these 8 Marines are going to drop. He's going to lose 2 of them nearly instantly to these Marauders. A single Viking coming out now might even be able to do some damage to this medevac if TLO chooses to pursue it. Moonan is moving across the middle now, keeping tabs on this Xel'Naga tower. TLO, on the other hand, still just making all kinds of stuff. Siege mode, researching, another tank coming out, more Marauders and medevacs. He's got pretty much just 0 anti-air except for these 2 Marines, and now a Viking out as well. Oh man, if this medevac goes down to a single Viking, Moonan is going to feel so silly. Needs a parachute drop these Marines. He only got 2 of them out, so 4 Marines and a medevac killed there by a single Viking. TLO has to be feeling good about that. 121 supply now against 73. TLO maintaining his advantage and now taking a 3rd base over on the right side here, getting that turned into an orbital command as quickly as he can. A couple of Vikings still flying around, seeing what they can see. They're going to see a face full of bullets here if they fly too close, and this turret here. TLO looks like he's getting ready to do a drop now with 2 tanks, 4 Marauders, and 2 more tanks. 4 tanks, 4 Marauders. Now they are in range of this turret. Wants to get that medevac out of there quickly, but everything is dropped now, and these tanks siege up instantly. They're going to be able to take out that turret, and now starting to focus down some supply depots. Marauders getting hit by their own tank fire a little bit, but now stimming up and running in, killing off the tank of Moonan. Moonan forced to pull a lot of SCVs. He's got a ton of Marines here with stim and shield, I should say, but these siege tanks are doing some damage. He has no counterattack anywhere on the map that I can see, only has a bunch of Marines here left in the red, but he does manage to kill off the rest of TLO's forces. Only 3 medevacs surviving that drop, so TLO's supply should have dipped drastically, but actually he's now double the supply of his opponent, Moonan. Both players getting +1 weapon upgrades. Moonan's is going to finish first, and he is focusing a little more on infantry than TLO seems to be, but TLO is dropping 3 more barracks right now and another factory. He's getting this base up and running. His 3rd orbital is complete, so he's now at 62 harvesters against 35. The longer this game goes on, the more of an advantage TLO seems to gain. His production is out of this world right now, getting SCVs, Marines, Marauders, tanks, and tank upgrades here. 3 more barracks, 2 more turrets. Moonan, on the other hand, does have a command center complete, and he's floating over to his 3rd base. TLO easily going to be picking off a couple of units there, but Moonan is going to have control of the other Xel'Naga tower. At least he has that. Seems to be the only semblance of map control that he has in this game right now. So one exciting thing about TLO, we've seen him play Protoss, we've seen him play Zerg, and now we're seeing him play Terran, all in the same tournament. He has such a good awareness and mastery of all 3 races. It's just a joy to watch him play and to watch him win these games. He hasn't won this game yet, I'll give him that, but I'll give Moonan that, I should say. But he's in very good position to do so, and this command center is just hanging out because Moonan doesn't really have enough units to support it or protect it just yet. Instead, he's sending a medevac over to the top spawn, and TLO luckily is going to run right underneath it with 4 Marauders. It looks like this Marauder squad is separating from the main army, looking for command centers to try and take out as they may be building or freshly landed and starting to saturate. So TLO is moving now with a ton of units here, lots of tanks, lots of Marines and Marauders, lots of medevacs, a couple of Vikings, actually just 1 Viking up in the air. Looks like Moonan is going to be doing a drop over at TLO's 3rd. We'll go ahead and drop that in the picture-in-picture, get rid of this production tab now so we can see all the action. Elevatoring up into the main of Moonan. Moonan doesn't really have a lot here to respond. He's got some siege tanks and a bunch of Marines. He is doing a drop there at TLO's 3rd, but TLO, the mass army right here, sieging up on the low ground, has this Viking for spotting, dropping a ton of units into the main here, taking out production buildings. Moonan not in very good shape right now. Another siege tank goes down, +1 weapons are done for TLO. He's going to keep ferrying these units back up, just going to let his 3rd go down most likely, and yeah, he's just killing everything. Add-ons going down, tanks going down to Marauders, still lifting units. There's a lot of medevacs full right here. He needs to go ahead and get those start to drop, killing off all these production structures. Anything Moonan builds right now will be killed as soon as it spawns, so this game is essentially over. And TLO showing us some very nice TVT play, some interesting stuff with the Thor, some nice pickup and drop off micro with that medevac and Thor combo. And Moonan GG's. That was game 1 in a best of 3, so now we're going to move into game 2. Come on with me.